I've changed my username so many times this year that I don't even know what to call myself at this point, but whatever. Good afternoon everyone, I'm Noe. I've wanted to make this video for quite a while, as always, but I never seem to remember to actually make it. Anyways, since my old moving jaw tutorial is pretty outdated by now, I wanna make a new one. I have footage from other cosplays that I'll use to help explain myself. Before I start, keep in mind that this method is mainly for FNaF cosplays, as that's what I'm used to make. I've used this method for my Legoshi cosplay as well, and it's up to you if he looks a little too robotic. If you want your head to have a more hidden moving jaw, there are other fursuit tutorials for it that will help you better. Without further ado, let's go. Okay, so you wanna make a moving jaw for your cosplay. First off, we must have the finished, or at least carved, upper half. Why? Because when we have the upper half with the cheeks and details and such, it will be easier to make a pattern for the jaw, as we're using that as our reference. So we have our finished top half, then we put a paper under it to make the pattern of the jaw, which almost, if not always, it's basically tracing the upper half onto the paper. Don't worry, we'll cut the inside part later on. We have our pattern, then we trace it on foam, we shave it, blah blah blah. When we have these two parts, now it's very important that we make a line on the upper half to make sure where the jaw rests. Again, we will cut the inside so we don't choke inside the head, don't worry. Try to line up the jaw with the front and then make the lines. Now we did cut the inside to make our head fit with the jaw. After we cut the inside, we probably got to add more foam for the chin. Because if you know anything about FNaF cosplays and fursuits, you know how big the heads are compared to human heads. Therefore it's very possible you have a gap between where the jaw rests on the head and your human jaw. This gap will give us trouble, so let's just get rid of it. Add foam on the jaw until you can put on the top half, the jaw, and your chin touches the jaw. This is also a good moment to try out the moving jaw itself, to see if it actually works by holding the sides to the top half. When we make sure that when we wear the head our chin touches the jaw and moves with it, we move on to making it actually work. Get out your plastic mesh and make 8 rectangles, 2 for each side, for both the top and bottom. Try to make them as similar as possible. Glue each 2 together to be left with 4 rectangles. Now put each of these rectangles together and get some scissors to make a hole that goes through both of the rectangles. Try to make it in the center of it. Make it so your screw goes through them. Glue 2 of the 4 rectangles to the jaw and do the holes for both sides, of course. Now, important. Cover the ends with tape. I use black tape so it doesn't stand out too much as it blends with my black mask. Now glue the screw to the sides that are glued to the jaw. Allow yourself to test if they move fluently, as they should. When both screws are glued to the sides of the jaw and the plastic mesh is covered in tape to make it smooth, glue the other 2 sides to the top half, using both the front of the jaw and the lines from earlier as reference to where it should be attached. Now glue some elastic to the jaw that wraps around your head so the jaw moves with yours. You don't wanna choke on it, but you don't wanna make it loose. So just make sure you measure it correctly. But don't worry, adding or cutting excess elastic if you mess up the first time won't hurt in the movement. Now, try out the movement by putting on your head. Your jaw should rest on the foam. If not, squish it a little and the jaw should move symmetrically on both sides. If your chin doesn't touch the foam enough, add more foam. If the jaw opens more on one side than the other, then it's either one side is further up to the front than the other, or the elastic is slightly misplaced. You can just unglue these and glue them in the right place and that's it. If you tested out your jaw and it moves well, then we can move on to the fabric, and that's up to you as this is just a moving jaw tutorial. I hope this helped you to make a moving jaw for your cosplay or fursuit, as I've been using this method since Withered Goldie 2.0. It's just that I've perfectioned it with time. Thanks for watching. See you later.